we're going to talk a little bit about machine learning engineering and your role leading a team and how you got here. So first of all, what is your role here at DHI?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am a manager of development. I focus on building the team, really. So my goal is to understand the needs of the team, the skill sets, and to try to help build the healthiest, most productive team, helping unblock them when they're blocked, helping get them the training they need, and helping make sure that they are able to focus on the business problems. So my goal is really, my product is the team.
Okay.
And the team is able to actually meet our business objectives and move the product forward.
Perfect. And then just give us a brief idea of how you ended up in that role. Was that something you knew you were going to do? Like you were like, I'm going to be a manager of a coding team, or is that something you moved into?
It's really not. And my career is I've taken on a number of roles, and I think that's actually really helped me be a manager. Is I've actually kind of been in each of the different parts on my team. So coming out of college, software engineering background, I ended up working at NCAR and working for a
NCAR's the
National Center for Atmospheric Research.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And as a college student, I interned at the Research and Advanced Applications Laboratory. And then I worked at the High Altitude Observatory, which is a different division, which is focused on analyzing the sun. They take all the cool pictures of the sun and they analyze like the coronal mass ejections, and they predict whether or not a solar flare is going to hit us. And when I worked at HAO, I actually ended up working on the Earth system grid, which is a large distributed system that basically did climate models. And when I was there, it actually was part of a Nobel Prize. So the Nobel Prize they gave to Al Gore for his work on climate change, they actually gave some of that to the Earth system grid. Ooh. So I was just a little coder, but the people that ran that project, which was across government agencies, actually were part of a Nobel Prize.
Do you put Nobel Prize winner on your resume?
I do not.
Oh,
I do not.
It seems like you could.
I was in my first year. It's a little bit too much, I think.
I think time's moved on now. No one's really going to know. I think Nobel Prize winner's the way. In fact, you should change your LinkedIn profile to Nobel Prize winner stroke management of development.
Yeah. That would feel a bit of a brag. I've got
one more question for you before you keep going. Given that you work, I mean, it sounds like you've worked on some really cool platforms. Do you watch Hollywood movies where they depict this stuff with disappointment, like The Day After Tomorrow, whatever that was?
I remember when The Day After Tomorrow came out, I worked at NCAR, and all the teams I worked on were climatologists and people that worked in weather forecasting, and they hated it with a passion. And it was kind of fun to be in the office as they just picked apart every little thing. It's sort of like when Neil deGrasse Tyson is picking apart something.
Yeah,
like they were doing that in the office about like everything with that movie. And it was interesting to kind of listen to them break it apart and just roast it.
Fair enough. Okay. And then one last question, then you can move on. Is it possible to make it rain by shooting things in clouds? Because
cloud seeding, rain seeding is a thing. And I think actually one of the biggest interesting points on that is it's basically unregulated, but it affects, the entire planet. And so there are companies out there that are trying experiments and doing things, and there's really no regulation around that. But yeah, cloud seeding is a thing, but like how effective you can be at it is really undetermined.
Okay, fair enough. All right, thank you. And that's enough of my climate questions. So yeah, keep going.
Okay. So after a couple of years at NCAR, the team I worked on, my boss, who was the lead scientist, actually was offered a tenureship position at Rensselaer Polytechnic in upstate New York to start a AI and semantic web laboratory with Deborah McGinnis, who ran the Knowledge Lab at Stanford and was very focused in AI, and with Jim Hendler, who helped create the semantic web proposal with Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Right. And so he offered me a job to go with him and said, come with me to New York. You can work remote so you can stay where you're at, and we're going to do all these really cool things. So for the next several years, I was a lead programmer, and I actually helped advise graduate students in this AI ML semantic web lab. And that's really where I came into ML, learned about it, worked on a lot of academic projects, a lot of grant-funded projects, and kind of cut teeth on what it was to lead a team. We only had a couple people on staff, but I worked regularly with grad students on projects where I kind of managed them. Okay. So that's where I started kind of moving into management and also started to understand what machine learning was. And then I started to I actually got my master's through RPI in machine learning. Kind of as I was there, I was able to leverage a program to pick that up while working full-time as well. Okay.
Very good. So Nobel Prize winner and founder of AI/ML is what I've written down. Should add to your resume. Very impressive. I think I'm I know I keep saying that we're going to have big celebrities on the stream. I think I'm elevating you from someone in the office to big celebrity. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I could make that worse.
All right. Well,
about 10 years ago when I was at RPI, I actually was part of a W3C recommendation for a standard, and we put together a standard for representing provenance on the web. So I am
You're like
I'm an author,
father
but
of the internet.
I am not.
Just
that
say
now.
yes.
Yes. But actually, in my career, I think one of the things I'm most proud about is having been a part of the working group that created a standard for representing provenance on the web.
All right, perfect.
And I still see occasionally books come out that are talking about it, and I just sort of kind of smile because it's like I helped create that thing that book is talking about.
Excellent, good job. All right, so we've got a question from here. How long did you work as a dev before moving into management? Mr. Nobel Prize winner. See, you're being recognized now.
Over 10 years.
Okay.
Across a number of different companies. So I think about 12 years.